The first time I met her, she was making cazzarielle, little gnocchi, potato dumplings, and she was kneading a finger hole in each one to absorb the tomato sauce that was bubbling in the background. It was Thursday night. It smelled like Sunday morning. There was a Bialetti espresso machine whistling black magic in the background. Chin Radio was singing, "O Sole Mio." She was singing, she turned, she saw me, she smiled in a way that was warm and welcome, and at the same time, if you mess with my daughter, I'm gonna kill you, man. My future mother-in-law. Sediamoci, she said. Let's sit. Quasi-command, quasi-invitation. Everything about my mother-in-law started with sit. And there was never any friggin' room in her kitchen to sit. The teacher, the butcher, the paisano was always there. My father-in-law was running around to find a chair in the basement, in the sewing room, in the dining room. I didn't think it started off too great, our first visit. "You're Italian," she said, "and you don't like tomatoes?" I tried to explain I was scarred. As a child, years of running around trying to steal hockey sticks and wooden posts from every election sign to house tomatoes in my father's backyard garden. "You're Italian," she said, "and you don't like vino." I told her I was scarred. Years and years of carrying cases of grapes into my father's garage and squish and step and squash on the grapes until my hands, my feet, the ceramic floor in my father's garage was stained with purple grapes. After I left, she told her daughter, "Lilia, why does he slouch on the couch?" Little did she know that I, like many of my generation, suffer from a little-known Italian-Canadian malady called slip-sliding on couches as a result of plastic covering that our mother put on. So she says to me, "What do you do?" Now try explaining charity, helping. She got it. Cut through it in a second like only she could. "I no believe in charity. I believe in care. Charity," she said, "is up and down. Care is faccia a faccia, sitting." Who would have thunk? My future mother-in-law talking about charity like Edoardo Galeano. Who would have thought my future mother-in-law understood the difference between professional help and care with the precision of a John McKnight? I loved her already. "You know what we need," she said? "Una cacophony of care." Now try saying that five times fast. Una cacophony of care. No, I didn't mean it. That was just rhetorical. Una cacophony of care. It means like it sounds. It sounds like it means, harsh, dissonant, discordant, and it remains as clear and relevant today, my friends, as it was 20-some odd years ago when I first met her. In a charitable sector where we are trying to systemize, institutionalize, centralize, maximize, add any word and the suffix "eyes" at the end. I heard on CBC radio this past Sunday that "eyes" is a suffix that means caused to conform or resemble. Now sure, there are some parts in our system or our sector, if we can call it that, that should be "eyes." There are some jobs or professions that we should professionalize because they require a training that is different or other than. And sure, as a now ubiquitous other TED Talk suggests, maybe the way we think about charity is dead. But not because of pie charts and graphs that demonstrate the income inequality between the for-profit and the not-for-profit sector. Not because we need incentives to get better, smarter, bigger people into our sector. Not because we're measuring the wrong percentage or the wrong metric. Not because the problems that we face are too big or complex for our little minds. Maybe, just maybe, charity is dead because we have sectorized, siloized, systemized, professionalized care. Care defies eyes. Care is something that you and I do naturally and freely. It cannot be downloaded, uploaded, sideloaded to any organization, sector, or system. It is the rich informal fabric that exists. It's the hyper network of friends, or family, or peers, or church group, or faith, or bowling club that you call when you need a helping hand. It's what Putnam called social capital in Bowling Alone. It's what Malcolm Gladwell called the town of Roseto in his book, The Outliers. It's what United Way York Region heard loud and clear when, in our meeting house sessions, dialogues in neighborhoods across York Region, we met with residents from Richmond Hill to East Gwillimbury, from Newmarket to Markham. Yes, they talked about deepening poverty. Yes, they talked about precarious jobs. Yes, they talked about housing affordability. But you know what people said consistently in every municipality, urban, rural, suburban? We love our community. We don't feel connected. We want to get involved. People want to engage. But as we build physical infrastructure, roads, sewers, subways, maybe not subways, stores, schools, and as we build charities for every freaking body part and social ill imaginable, we are sucking the soul out of social infrastructure, out of caring, which we should give so freely. And with this downloading, sideloading, uploading, we risk losing the sine qua non. It's a good Latin word. I don't know what the hell it means, but I thought I would throw it in. We risk losing the single most important way of solving our deep social problems. People sitting face to face, fiato a fiato, messy discussions, solving social issues. Because we know the act of sediamoci works. It builds community attachment. As the Knight Foundation indicated, communities that have high resident attachment, people know each other, get along, participate, volunteer, also have the highest GDP growth year over year. We know that building community attachment takes time. You don't love your neighborhood because of a program or a professional or United Way agency down the street. You love your neighborhood because there's places you go that you bump into neighbors. There's associations you belong to. And we know that community attachment is the best prevention to social problems. The more attached a neighborhood is, the more connected you are to your neighbors, the higher educational achievement, the lower the crime rate, the better the economic growth. That's why United Way York Region is going beyond its traditional funding of formal programs frontline programs, so critical, and we are investing in community, in care, in the informal networks of people coming together to sit and work on local community solutions. A group of residents in the town of Aurora in a little co-op. They've had so many agencies who drive through when and if there's funding, finally said, this is our community. And we are going to come together and get a local childcare, community leadership programs, a community kitchen. A group of parents who have kids with severe mental health issues, 10, 20, now 50 parents who meet informally outside of any agency or sector and support each other. They've increased their coping skills, they've cut the amount of ER visits of their kids, and they've decreased the number and intensity of crises. This is not magic, this is simple. 4 things that United Way York Region is trying to model. Number 1, we cannot charity, social service, or fundraise our way out of big problems, no matter how much money we raise. Number 2, change starts outside of our offices, outside of our committees, and outside of our reports. Number 3, people solve problems, period. Money helps sometimes. And number 4, community is messy, fluid, and full of question marks, but it is the answer. Our job, your job, is to build civic muscle, to get more people to sit their butts down on fixing and solving our deepest social issues. That is job 1. And I know there are going to be thought leaders, gurus, think tanks. They will say, this Daniele Zanotti, it's all poo-poo. They will call for system integration, collective impact. They will say, that is so yesterday. Maybe it is. And to them I say, yes, sure. You can talk about collective impact. You can talk about system integration. Do all of that. But the one thing we need, more, before, always, is a cacophony of care. Messy, dissonant, chaotic, discordant, grassroots, entrepreneurial. You add whatever term you want, but do not add the term I's. We, you and me, as citizens, must get back. We must reclaim what is ours, the civic domain of care. It is our responsibility. It is not something that we can download to an agency, a sector, or a system. I believe in charity. I believe in care. But most of all, I believe in my mother-in-law. And I believe everything begins with sediamoci. As stupid and simple and real and deep as that sounds, my friends, join me. Thank you.